Friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yesterday, RBI has issued a notification. They have taken a very important decision, and this decision is impacting upon the commercial banks and the small finance banks. Now, what is that decision they have taken? You may be aware that earlier, commercial banks were allowed to finance NBFCs, including housing finance companies, for on-lending purposes to the individual borrowers. The same concept was applicable to the small finance banks also. It means the commercial banks and the small finance banks could finance NBFCs, including housing finance companies, and NBFC MFIs and other MFIs for on-lending purposes. Now the question is, what is this on-lending concept? This concept is very simple. The commercial bank can provide bulk money to the NBFC, and NBFC may lend the same money to the individual borrowers in small ticket sizes as prescribed by RBI, particularly to certain specified priority sectors. Similarly, or the same concept is applicable to small finance banks. The only difference is that commercial banks can provide this bulk money to the NBFCs, including housing finance companies, and small finance banks can provide the bulk money to the NBFC MFIs and other MFIs, which may be operating in form of trusts or societies. So the on-lending concept is clear, and this concept is helpful in achieving the financial inclusion. Means the NBFCs or NBFC MFIs and other MFIs may reach to the last mile customer where it is not possible for the commercial banks to reach as of now. So that FI objective of the government is also being fulfilled, and this synergy between the commercial banks and the NBFCs and small finance banks and the NBFC MFIs and other MFIs has been developed over the years. The RBI, keeping in view the fact that this synergy now can be leveraged for extending credit through NBFCs and NBFC MFIs to the last mile customer on an ongoing basis. Earlier, this facility was available to the commercial banks and to small finance banks up to 31st March 2022. And the Finance Industry Development Council, which is the apex body of loan financing and asset financing NBFCs and MFIs in the specified sector, they wrote to RBI requesting therein that this date may please be extended. Instead of extending this date, say up to March 31st, 2023, RBI has now allowed this facility on an ongoing basis. It's important. It means that now there is no prescribed date or time limit. And this can prove to be an additional lending opportunity for the commercial banks as well as for the small finance banks. But there is a rider. They cannot finance up to an unlimited amount. And the limit have been fixed by RBI. So, bank credit to NBFCs, including housing finance banks, may be allowed up to an overall limit of 5% of the individual bank's priority sector lending in case of commercial banks. And bank credit to NBFC MFIs and other MFIs which may be operating as a society or a trust and which are the members of a self-regulating organization recognized by RBI in their particular sector may lend within an overall limit of 10% of the individual small finance bank priority sector credit. So 5% in case of commercial banks and 10% in case of small finance banks, and this limit is 5% or 10% of the individual bank's priority sector credit. Another rider, the small finance banks can lend to NBFC MFIs and other MFIs where their gross loan portfolio, GLP, gross loan portfolio is up to 500 crore, not exceeding this limit. But if the finance has been made by the small finance banks and their gross loan portfolio limit has been exceeded during a particular financial year, what will happen to the loan portfolio of the small finance bank? It will continue to be classified as priority sector credit by the small finance bank, which have been sanctioned and disbursed prior to the exceeding the limit of the GLP of that particular NBFC, MFI or other MFI, that will continue to be classified as a priority sector credit by the small finance bank. So this is a benefit till the maturity of those loans and maturity, whichever is earlier. And the most important aspect is that the banks and small finance banks are providing credit to NBFCs and they are on lending it to certain specified priority sectors. Those specified priority sectors are agriculture, MSME and housing. And one last thing, that these guidelines are not applicable to regional rural banks, urban cooperative banks and local area banks. I hope this information, which is the latest one from RBI, it is latest RBI update, will prove to be useful for all my fellow bankers. So in the end, I will request you to please like and share my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel and give your beautiful comments in the comment box. I am getting a lot of suggestions and questions on these videos these days, and I am receiving a very encouraging response from my fellow bankers on my YouTube channel. So thank you for all your support and thank you for watching.